8 years after she was horribly, Shannon Keeler began receiving alarming Facebook messages.
26-year-old Shannon Keeler says it was a Facebook message she never imagined she would receive.
She had been off the social media app for several years, but decided to jump on one afternoon during a relaxing vacation at the beach with her boyfriend in 2020. When she opened the messages, she was horrified to find several messages from the man who her. "So I you. I'll never do that to anyone ever again," read one of the messages. Shannon was a university student at Gettysburg College in Pennsylvania when this life-changing event occurred. She attended a university party with some friends to celebrate the end of the semester. A man at the party repeatedly demanded her attention. He sidled up close to her on the dance floor, and when she attempted to move away, he pushed her against a wall and tried to kiss her. Scared, Shannon asked a male friend to escort her back to her dorm. The man approached Shannon and her escort as they left with a $20 bill in his outstretched hand. "Just give her to me, man, please." Shannon's escort told the man that it was him Shannon was trying to avoid and to leave her alone. He walked her to her dorm and made sure she was safely inside. Little did he know, the man had followed them. Only a short time after arriving back to her dorm room, Shannon heard a knock at the door as she readied herself for bed. Believing it to be her friends, she opened the door to her. After forcing himself on her, he began to cry and apologize. He told her he didn't mean to hurt her, but he bolted out of the room when she said that he did. Shannon reported her experience to the police and went through a battery of tests, only to be told there was nothing they could do. There was not enough evidence to prosecute the man, whose name has not been released. Her alleged attacker was questioned, but told investigators he had nothing to do with Shannon's. No charges were ever filed against him. Shannon went on with her life, despite the trauma that night caused her psychologically and physically. The day she discovered those Facebook confession messages gave her a renewed sense of hope. A hope that she could finally get justice. Laura Dunn, Shannon's attorney, told reporters at a press conference that the case is still under the 12-year statute of limitations provided in Pennsylvania. The problem is the district attorney, Brian Sinnott, had access to the confession for a year without any movement in the case. He has released a statement saying an active investigation is still pending. If you were just tuning into Facebook Live in 2016, Earl Valentine's video looked the same as anyone else's until he spoke. "What's up, everybody? My wife. I loved her, but she deserved what she had coming." Valentine and his ex-wife, Keisha, had a contentious relationship. Keisha lived with the couple's 15-year-old son, Earl Jr., in Norlena, North Carolina, in an attempt to escape her husband's temper. Despite her best efforts to protect herself and her child, Earl found them at home one early morning in August and kicked down the door. Keisha was in her bedroom when she heard the noise and went into the kitchen to investigate. That's when Earl Valentine fired his gun straight into her chest. Keisha ran to her bedroom and tried to barricade the door, but he kept firing at her, hitting her 5 times. Earl Jr. woke up from the commotion and ran to protect his mom. Earl fired on his only son and watched him drop to the ground. With his last breath, he called the police and explained what his father had done. Meanwhile, Earl was on the road again, but this time he went live. He took to Facebook Live, only a few months old at the time, to tell the world what he had done and that he had no remorse.
She lied on me, had warrants taken out on me. She drugged me all the way down to nothing.
Investigators were able to get Earl on the phone as he traveled down the interstate toward Richmond, where he planned to take the of his ex-in-laws. Investigators tracked his cell phone as he visited his father's gravesite and continued toward his ex-in-laws. Fortunately, he was located in a hotel in Columbia, South Carolina before he could reach his destination. As police surrounded the hotel, Earl Valentine used his own to take his life. Keisha Valentine lived through this horrific ordeal, although some of the bullets fired by her ex-husband are still inside her body. Her were so severe that she will likely spend the rest of her life as a wheelchair user. Agar Hassan and Melinda Vasilij broke up after a year-long relationship, and he wasn't taking it well. In fact, Melinda had told friends that she was afraid to be alone with him. In early April, Hassan broke into Melinda's apartment and went after her roommate and her brother. He was arrested. His release required him to never go near or make contact with Melinda again, but that didn't stop him. On April 28, 2017, she agreed to meet with him to put things to an amicable end. She asked 2 friends to come over when he arrived. The friends heard the pair quietly talking in her bedroom and went out to get food to give them privacy. That's when Hassan went mad. He grabbed a kitchen and plunged it through his ex-girlfriend's chest multiple times, then left her on the floor and fled the scene. He left for the United States the same day, stopping at a Walmart to steal a license plate from a parked car to place on his own. Melinda's friends returned to the apartment to find her mangled on her bedroom floor and called the authorities. Hassan escaped to the United States but kept his social media accounts active. In a Reddit thread on popular true crime cases, he posted that he knew more than most people. The amount of regret and sadness is beyond words. Everyone else is just reading or talking about it. I lived it. I was there. I did it. He also posted on Instagram about his terrible deed and his desire to go home and end his life on the run. He didn't have to find the courage to turn himself in, however, because the Secret Service found him first. Hassan was pulled over during a traffic stop in Texas in a counterfeit currency investigation. He had been on the run for 3 months. He was extradited to Canada, where he is still awaiting a trial due to delays from the COVID-19 pandemic. Amanda Taylor, known as the selfie killer, used a bayonet to take her father-in-law's life in Virginia and then posted pictures next to his on social media. Amanda's husband, Rex, had taken his own on their son's 8th birthday, and she blamed his father, Charles. Before Rex's death, the couple, who have 2 children together, had become obsessed with famous serial killers like Richard Ramirez and Albert Fish. Rex spiraled into dark moods in the days before he took his life, and Amanda blamed it on illicit narcotics his dad had exposed him to as a teenager. 8 months after Rex's tragic death, his wife, Amanda, plunged a bayonet into his father's chest 31 times. But she wasn't alone. Sean Ball, a friend of both Amanda and Rex, helped her to exact her revenge on the unsuspecting 59-year-old man by shooting him in the back of the head. She later told authorities she had no remorse and did exactly as she wanted to do. After taking Charles Taylor's life, Amanda and Sean fled from Virginia toward North Carolina, where she posted a picture of a silver revolver laying in her lap to Instagram with a caption that read, "All right, it's about that time. I'm going to go find my husband and finally be at peace." Amanda was intent on continuing with her plans, but Sean began to have second thoughts and tried to talk her out of it. Angered, Amanda pulled over to the side of the road and aimed her revolver at him. "I want you to know that I used you for your in your car. I hope you die." She left him on the roadside and continued her horrific journey, but not before snapping a picture of his face and the damage she caused. Police eventually spotted her driving in North Carolina, and she was arrested. She waived her rights and excitedly described to the police everything that she had done. To her surprise, she learned Sean Ball was alive. The bullet had passed through his jaw, and he'd passed out from the pain. Although she first requested a sentence of capital punishment, she soon changed her mind and pled not guilty. She was eventually sentenced to life. She still claims no remorse and gives many interviews about her deeds. Social media confessions are a growing trend. Is it because social media is gaining prominence in society? Or do these people just crave attention and notoriety any way they can get it? Let us know what you think in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fresh news content.